Many people are surprised when they hear that I solo converted my van. It's too much work, they say. It took me almost 3 years, and some things are still unfinished. I figured out power tools, woodworking, electrical, and plumbing all on my own. I learned a ton of valuable skills, and not just for building, for life. Confidence, trusting myself. I also saved money, custom built what I actually like, and made my home biologically healthy. I'm a life and wellness coach, a world traveler, and nature-inspired creator. I believe homes we live in should make us feel alive. I'm Yulia. Let me show you how I intentionally created my home. So when my friends come to visit my van for the first time, they always comment on how much better it feels than it looks in the pictures and videos. They comment on the smell of the wood, how warm this place feels, and how it's so relaxing and cohesive. Every material that I chose in the build was not just chosen for beauty and its function, but also for the well-being, my own well-being and the well-being of the planet. Before we jump into the full tour, I wanted to share my top 3 most favorite things about my van. I love my HappiJac bed because it comes down from the ceiling all ready for a good night's sleep, no prep needed. It's especially perfect on days when I'm tired after being active. In my tiny home of 50 square feet, I have a choice of 2 different office spaces. I work from the road and I have to have confidential calls. And I have 2 different tables that offer different views and vibes, plus, of course, coffee shops when I need those. And my lagoon table converts into a guest day bed. My third favorite thing is I used natural materials as much as possible. I wanted a home that feels loving and intentional. My van is a 2021 Mercedes Sprinter van with a short wheelbase of 144, which is about 18 feet in length, so like a standard vehicle. I bought it new as a cargo van, which was just a metal shell when I started converting. In my living room, I did make all of these cushions. I'm still sewing cases. They're all different colors. This one is done. I'm gonna replace this. This one needs the outer case. I wanted to have a fixed bed, but I have a short wheelbase van, and so having a fixed bed would basically take up the entire space. So having a HappiJac bed that comes down from the ceiling turned out to be brilliant. And now actually I have 3 bunk bed situation, because I have my main bed that comes down, then I have this guest bed, and then I also had a friend who wanted to sleep on the floor one time that we traveled.
I'm ready for a life where nothing holds me back. Oh, it's all that I need. Surrounded by the promises I know I have, where my heart can breathe.
I built my van with functional areas in mind. For example, I work on the road a lot, and so it was important for me to have an actual table to sit at. And I now have 2 tables. So I can either sit on this side, look at the view. The other area is my swivel chair and the fold-up table from the kitchen. I can easily remove my lagoon mount table and my living room becomes more accessible. I can host 3 to 4 people comfortably, even though my van is so tiny. It's like 50 square feet. I once had 11 people in my van, and that was really fun. Hey, I have guests in my van.
On your channel.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. How many people do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We have 10, 11, including me.
Oh.
Yay! Yay! Van life, baby! My living room is so versatile because I can take my Lagoon mount table, put it down, add an extra piece of wood, slide all cushions over, and this turns into a really cool daybed for naps. Or if I have somebody staying over with me in the van, this is a guest bed. And also a really cool area to host. Like I just hosted my friend on the recent camping trip, and we had the best dinner. Let me tell you about my kitchen. I installed a 3-burner stove, and there's also an oven. I also have a pretty amazing fridge. It stores surprisingly a lot. I really need to go shopping. I've been hanging out for like a week in the desert. And then there's a freezer here as well. Let's talk about water for a second. I have a 30-gallon water tank. It's stored in underneath this bench. There's a tank with the water inlet right behind me. I use RV filter when I fill up comfortably. It lasts me about a week. If I really save water, I can go up to 2 weeks when I go off grid. And water is really the main thing that runs out if I go off grid, because electricity, as long as it's sunny, I'm all good. Food, typically, yes, I love fresh fruits and veggies, but I also have pantry items, and I also carry 4 to 5 gallons of drinking water separately. I could drink this water, but I prefer to keep it in separate bottles. Right now I'm using plastic bottles, and then I fill up these glass bottles, and that's how I drink my water. In the past I've used Berkey. I'm probably gonna get Berkey or a similar filtration system. I do have a toilet on a sliding drawer underneath my sink, and I should say, like, this is a must-have, especially for solo travelers and especially for ladies. I don't want to go in the middle of a night looking for a toilet. It is number 1 only. For number 2, I go to a coffee shop or a store, and if I'm in the middle of nowhere, I have a poop shovel. I also was very intentional about storage. This is a smaller van, and I needed extra storage. I currently have storage under that bench in the back. In this bench, I have 30-gallon water tank that's feeding my kitchen. Initially, I considered doing a U-shaped couch, and I realized that I would not have as much storage. So I went ahead and added this sideboard right here, which gave me 4 extra drawers and also a lot of space underneath. Actually, L-shaped couch works just perfectly because it's just me. I also have a swivel chair. Up to 5 people fit comfortably in the van, and I can host. Table can also be removed, so it becomes a much more accessible space. Okay, a big game changer was adding a hanging closet. I did not want to have all my clothes folded, rolled up it does get wrinkled. So when I added the hanging closet for a couple of my coats and some dresses, it's amazing. I don't know how I was able to squeeze it in, but I did. All wood that I used is either hardwood or high quality plywood without glues, formaldehyde, additional toxins. I really wanted to minimize VOCs and also make it look and feel solid. This is cedar. Cedar symbolizes clarity, purification. I use white oak throughout the van, white oak plywood and also hardwood. White oak is strength and courage, and I really was thoughtful about how I choose these materials. Not only I like the wood quality itself, but also I really love what it symbolizes. And I made my own stain, steel wool vinegar, and then I also made oil and wax finish. So I didn't use any polyurethane and I didn't use any stains that are toxic. And my philosophy is, when it comes to tiny home especially, but any home, what you touch on a daily basis matters much more than how it looks on the camera. And I see this over and over again. Some people choose materials for the looks, but not for the wellness aspect of those materials, or for their sustainability or recyclability. So please consider that, because it is your health and well-being. Cheers. It is not just the materials that are visible that I thought about. I also thought about the materials that are on the inside, such as insulation. I just have this temporary covering. I'm gonna have a nice tile over here. Let me show you what I use for insulation. Wool. I have a sandwich of Reflectix wool and permeable barrier that allows for the airflow. It's like smart in the way that it regulates temperature. It is also helping with radiation barrier. This cabinet behind me is my electrical setup. I actually made a separate video about my electrical, and this was the first thing that I did when I was building the van before I knew anything, and it was really scary. My electrical setup I am really happy with, because I get to travel and I haven't run out of power. My ultimate goal was to have my system be completely off-grid. 2 solar panels, 175 each, and then I have 400 amp hour lithium battery, which is amazing, and then inverter, 3000 watt inverter by Renogy, DC to DC charge controller, which helps to connect and convert solar power into the lithium power in the battery bank, and then the inverter, it converts DC with direct current into AC power, right? Like for my computer or appliances. Currently, I can charge my 400 amp battery bank through solar, and which is how I typically get it charged. But there have been times where I am traveling and it's rainy for days. In that situation, I would go to a campground and plug in. Third way that I really want to set up soon is charging the battery while I'm driving through the alternator. I recently added Starlink to my setup. I used to just travel and use hotspot. Now I can stay off grid, like I don't have to rush back into the city. I can enjoy nature, hiking, and then do my business. Okay, so I wired the bed, and now the moment of truth. I just temporarily wired it to the cigarette lighter plug, and I'm gonna plug it into my Goal Zero. Plug is in. Oh my gosh, moment of truth. Please work. Please work. Here's the switch. Oh my gosh. It actually works. There's my switch right here. And check this out. It works. Oh my God. I just want to make one more note about the sustainability and how this lifestyle allows me to reduce my footprint. So carbon footprint, but also water and waste. I am fully aware in saying that this is a van that is a diesel van. Obviously it does have a carbon footprint, not like a regular home, but you know, considering the fact that when people are in a conventional home, they still use a car to go get groceries, go drive to work and back from work. For me, I combine travel with my work and my life. And so I drove here, and I've been here for the past like 4 days, not moving the vehicle at all. I got my work done, I got my hiking done, I got my traveling done. And so I really fully reduced the carbon footprint. The mileage that I get is actually not bad for a van. I get about 22 miles per gallon with the diesel. Let me show you my trash bin. This is the size of my trash. Sorry, it's a little dirty. I really need to clean it. But this is how much trash I make in 2 to 3 days. You know, I recently installed Flume app at home where I live, and on an average day, I use 30 to 50 gallons of water. That's without the dishwasher or also the washer and dryer. So yeah, I definitely save water when I'm on the road. Obviously, this doesn't include a shower, so when I need to take a shower, I typically go to campgrounds or paid showers along the way. I really do believe that this is very sustainable. It teaches us to be minimalistic. I only have like so much room, so I have to be very mindful about what I buy, what I bring with me, what clothes I own. There's a lot of information about sustainable homes and eco-friendly homes, but it doesn't necessarily always mean healthy. Let's unpack that. I spend a lot of time in nature and I really, really enjoy it. And I've always wanted for my home to feel just like being in nature, like being out here. And one thing that exists in nature that is really beautiful is how nature balances everything. Right now I'm studying the building biology, and they talk about 4 elements in the home. The microclimate of the home consists of 4 elements, just like in nature. So they are earth and water, air, and fire, or energy. In the home it's energy, like electricity. And as long as those elements are balanced, it creates a very healthy environment. Let's start with Earth. Here she is. Here in Sedona, Earth is really beautiful. This red color. Earth represents matter, and it's all the physical materials that we have in the home. It's important for these physical materials to be as close to natural materials because your body has the memory, has the DNA, has the programming to actually process these materials. I have natural fibers, I have hardwood, and wood that is finished with oil. All the things that you see and that you touch, they are key and they're really, really important. Surfaces do really matter. Whatever you touch eventually becomes like sort of part of your body. Making sure that all these surfaces is as healthy and nourishing as it possibly can be. I cannot use plastics. I cannot wear plastics like polyester, for example. Clothing that I wear is natural linen, cotton, wool. It feels really good to be in a healthy and decluttered space. Let's talk about water. I have 30 gallons, as I mentioned. And I also have drinking water right here. Water in your environment is not just water that you drink or use to wash clothes and things like that, or dishes. It is also condensation and humidity. With humidity, it's super important whatever materials we're using in the home, and appliances as well, they can get affected by extra humidity. So one of the things that I added is I carry a small dehumidifier. So when I am in the environment that are a little extra humid, I'll use that. The biggest challenge was condensation because this is a metal van, and so therefore it is automatically going to have condensation on the metal surface when the temperature is different on the inside versus on the outside. And say if I'm in the cold environment, really below freezing or something, and I'm running a heater like I stayed in Yosemite, there is condensation on the metal walls of the van. I contacted Andy from Green Design Center. He has an amazing podcast called Non-Toxic Environment, and I consulted with him how to prevent that condensation and prevent mold that may come with it. He has taught me that the condensation, wherever that occurs, shouldn't touch the surfaces that may end up with mold. One of the questions that I had is whether I should just use wool or I should use wool with Reflectix. I use Reflectix, even though I prefer not to use plastics. But that was important to separate the metal from wool, and also it does add an additional layer that helps to keep the van cold or hot depending on the weather, and also it helps with preventing radiation. There's a beautiful sunset behind me. So the sun just set, and I want to talk about two more elements. The air. Air is so important. Air quality in your home, whether it's a conventional home or on the road, super important to have high quality air and do cross breeze and ventilation. You have these windows on the side that are creating cross breeze. If I turn on the fan above here, there's like a wind tunnel. I do have a heater, like I mentioned. And with my natural cushions that I made, I flip them, I rotate them, I air them out, making sure that there is no germs, bacteria, mold. I travel for 3-4 months at a time, and then I unpack. So if you are in the van full time, ideally you want to do like a deep clean. I think it also applies to homes. Deep clean every 3, 4, 5 months, taking everything out and making sure there is no stagnancy. I do have a carbon monoxide detector in my van, and I need to add fire alarm. I used to have one. So that's important for any home of any size. The most important thing that I talked about already is natural materials. So using low VOC or zero VOC materials that when they're heated, when they're exposed to sun and high temperatures, do not evaporate toxic substances into the air that you breathe. The last element that I want to talk about is energy. I do have electrical system. I am off-grid, so I have solar power, and the first thing that I did in the van was wiring. But when I did wiring, I actually was very mindful about where the wire is going to go compared to like where my sleeping area is going to be, because of EMF, electromagnetic fields. There's dirty electricity that comes from wiring. There's EMFs that come from wireless devices. The electrical compartment where a lot of chemical and electromagnetic processes happen. So I wanted to keep that cabinet as far away as possible from my bed so that my exposure at night while I'm sleeping is minimal. Please consider that, and also consider turning off your devices, electronics, keeping them away from your bedroom. And if you're in a conventional home, just looking at like how is your electrical system working? Is it all properly grounded? Do you have safeguards in place? All of those things are super important. When I think about a healthy home, I really think about how intentional the space is, how it truly is a sanctuary that is supporting our well-being, physical well-being, mental, emotional, spiritual, and each space in the home, no matter how small or how big it is, has its function and has its very sacred purpose, very special purpose. For example, bedroom has this rejuvenating, replenishing energy. It's there for relaxation and for sleeping. Office is for us to work and to be energized, to be productive. So my invitation to you is to balance your home however it needs to serve you, so that it keeps on loving and keeps on giving to you, no matter how small or how big it is. Thank you so much for visiting my home. If anything here sparked your curiosity, if you have questions, or if you want me to potentially make videos on some of these topics, leave a comment, let me know. I am here if you need support with your health or life, or potentially make your home healthier. Reach out if you need any coaching or consulting. I am just really honored to bring this wild home to you from the middle of wilderness. I hope you enjoyed this tour.